This is Create the Next from ProCFO Partners, where every week we explore strategies and ideas for financial management and growth to help today's businesses put their financial picture in context.
Welcome back to Create the Next. I'm Chris Bentliff, and I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. Haleh Fardi is with us, as she has been lately, the CBO at ProCFO Partners, one of my favorite people on the planet. And she brought with her a friend. Letitia Zwickert is with us today, and Letitia is the founder and CEO at MENTEE. And I'm going to read this incredibly powerful phrase that comes from your website, Letitia, and then I want to hear you kind of help us understand what you mean. Online global mentor network. We offer guidance, education, professional development, personal enrichment, and support, language training, and more, particularly for youth, right?
So, you know what, that's coming. But thank you for asking that. And thank you for having me. Haleh, this is a pleasure to see you in this forum. And always, every time we speak, the passion that comes from you to do important work around you and around the world always moves me greatly. MENTEE would be nothing if it weren't for my incredible partners that are both in the NGO space as well as in the corporate space. And I think that we don't do enough to extend our reach and bridge those spaces. So I appreciate your involvement with MENTEE.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always interesting to be on this side of it and have you guys thank me, but it's a little lopsided, but thank you. Chris, I'm going to actually say we have a grant. We have a manufacturing grant we do and a not-for-profit grant that we grant every year. And a couple of years ago, the Simmons Center in Chicago reached out and said, I know that MENTEE doesn't fall exactly in your scope, but I think you should have a conversation. And it was just one conversation. And then we have criteria, and MENTEE is great reach, great mission. But in terms of corporate infrastructure or business infrastructure, organizational infrastructure, it wasn't there. But the mission was bigger than anything that I wanted to invest in. And so there's a technology platform. There's a global reach here. And Letitia, I think you're a powerhouse. I don't know how you do what you do and the impact that you have on organizations and the people in your life and the people who support MENTEE and the students it's saving lives through education, saving lives through truly mentoring and what people are doing. So I'm happy to be here. I'm lucky that even though Nelson said, "Are you sure?" I said, "Yes." My partner, you're our first grantee. And we are very happy to continue to support what you're doing with Youth Plus and the UNAOC right now. And this is your platform. We want to see what else can we do to continue to support this organization and the work that MENTEE is doing globally.
Well, I think you just mentioned the Plural Plus work with UNAOC and IOM, incredible UN bodies that are, they have a focus globally on reaching folks in varying different capacities, and one is through film. And this film festival focuses on a lot of different kinds of challenges in our world. And we chose this year as a partner of this film festival to recognize a film that is near and dear to our heart, because we support close to 1,000 women inside of Afghanistan. And this film centers around uplifting, women in particular, but showcasing and highlighting the educational challenge that they're going through, and of course the human rights challenge that they're struggling with. So it was a very important film to support, and also the young filmmaker is living in Iran. He's going through his own challenges. So it was multi-layered, and just so happy to be a part of this. And I'm so proud to have ProCFO with us on that journey and giving them award. And Haleh, that you can actually be in person in Portugal during the summit to deliver, the award. So super happy again to be partnering around in significant work.
Thank you. So Chris, in case you didn't hear that, my contribution is to attend a film festival in Portugal.
I mean, If I'm ever part of a film festival, I hope you can attend and maybe.
Yes, and of course a small support. But what's really important here is I happen to be Iranian, and I didn't know when I agreed that the student is living in Iran, the Afghani student. But what we will do is when we post this video, this film is so touching. I'm going to get moved. It is such a touching film about the impact that the brother of this female student, this girl who wants to educate herself. So the role that everyone can play in education when there are dictates that are going around saying you cannot hear men's voices, you cannot hear women's voices, and how a brother risks their life. So we'll make sure that when it's appropriate, we'll add the link to the profile. But it's one person at a time, right? Isn't it, Letitia? One person at a time, one voice at a time that's going to make change, we hope.
So much. And, Mentee's mission has been 18 years old and older, no upper end limit. We bring on everyone for life. I was lucky enough, I think, actually, to build this with blood, sweat, and tears and not a lot of grant funding, because I was building a program that was 100% for the people I was trying to support. Every single thing we've done has been because they need it and not because someone's asking me to do it. So outside of my community. And so inside of my community, there's been a lot of need. And one of the additional needs, right now we're in 54 countries. We're supporting wonderful folks around the world through our NGO partners, which is an extensive network. And, so many times I hear, what about my younger sister? And it's usually, my younger sister, sometimes my younger brother. But I had not been able to reach down below 18 because of my concern. This is, an online, beautiful, beautiful space connecting people who, have incredible backgrounds, lengthy resumes who you might find on LinkedIn and you'd love to just connect and chat with. And I'm giving, this space so that mentees can choose these incredible conversations and learn alternatively through conversation. And then also, of course, have other partnerships and supports. But, all of these opportunities have been limited to this, 18 and older space. And I felt very heavyweight because of that. And looking at the different challenges globally right now, with the world seeming to be on fire, and I look at children and what they're going through at no fault of their own, how can I be useful? And I struggled a long time with trying to figure out how tech could make this happen, because I think tech can do a lot of good things too. And one was coming up with this idea of the Youth Hub. We've actually now just started, I think, a better name than Youth Hub, which exemplifies the very essence of why we're doing this, and that is called the School of Hope. And for me, trying to create a space essentially where there is hope that's being delivered and allowing for a youth 11 to 17, now, which is I smile a big smile, because I have been so long wanting to reach this space where we can deliver education support that is wrapped in mental health support to children who are in crisis zones. And this is, a school that's virtual, that is eventually going to be able to touch the world. But our first and largest motivation has been the crisis we see in Gaza, in Lebanon, and elsewhere, in terms of a lot of horrific experiences for children who have no control of their environment. And, bringing them education that's engaging, that's delivering them credits, that's moving towards a diploma. We want to make sure that they eventually get themselves a high school diploma as they leave, and then can be supported through Mentee. So these are really important benchmarks we hope to achieve. We have some incredible folks who have, tech know-how, so we can deliver the education in a way that's doable, because our biggest challenge would be our children in Gaza. They have a limited amount of devices. It's a challenge just to get food there right now. So we have to deal with the resources that we already have on the ground and to partner with as many folks as we can. I'm a UN SDG organization, and the very philosophy of Mentee is partnering with others to make real impact happen. We cannot do this alone. So the idea of, everyone who is involved, everyone who even just cares, who wants to make this happen, to join hands and see this through together. So it's very exciting, and I'm really looking forward to finally being able to reach down to children and do something good for our youth.
You seem like an extraordinary person, and Mentee seems like an extension of the extraordinary. Can you share just a little bit? How did this happen? How did you start this? What was in your head and in your heart when you started this? How far along are you in your vision? And as you mentioned, now you're starting to finally, as you're saying, youth are getting involved. How does that complete the picture or further the story for you?
I'm here in this space of trying to be useful and do my very best because there was opportunity to do so. I've been very, very lucky in my life, and opportunity to meet people who completely shifted my mindset on what was possible. And through hearing their stories or seeing their actions, tapping into my own passion allowed me to build a space that communicated, my philosophy and funnel or channel or find a porthole for all of the energy that's around me, where I see folks who care and want to do something and don't know how. And I felt just really compelled to connect people, not just connect amazing humans with the other amazing humans, but find a connecting space where we can share and grow together. And so for me, this is absolutely an extension of kind of this ecosystem. There's other things that Mentee does. We partner with universities for accreditation. We partner with wonderful mental health organizations and do mental health sessions each month. And all of these different things that have been brought into Mentee has been a response to the people who are around me and on all sides of the table. The mental health part is a challenge for all of us today. And for as much as my mentees might need that, my global mentors need it, my partners need it, I need it, we all need a space to come together, to share what we have, to share our stories collectively where we can learn from each other and use the resources we have to make this world better. So Mentee is, I think, hopefully always going to be evolving and adjusting and building and growing with partners who can join us and be a force for change, a positive force for change.
So at its heart, Mentee is a conduit to build relationships. Is that accurate, or how would you define it? And what are those relationships like? As you said, it doesn't seem like just a connection point. It sounds like a cultivation point. What is that like? What's kind of the nitty gritty of this relationship that's being created like?
I think Mentee is a response to a lot of things that are missing. Mm-hmm. I think it's a response to, frankly, a nonprofit world that is dysfunctional. It's a challenging space to be in when you have a beautiful idea. And there are so many beautiful ideas around the world when people try to start nonprofits and then are greatly challenged to continue them. I'm very lucky to have a day job and to be able to build and have built Mentee on blood, sweat, and tears, because then it can keep going. There's a lot of folks who are greatly challenged in the nonprofit space because it is not like our for-profit in that great ideas have money that are brought to them so they can grow. and grow ideas into beautiful, beautiful things. And I wish that more of that kind of feeling existed in the nonprofit space. So we were really lucky to, of course, have Simmons Center and, connect us, and then of ProCFO, and just meet Haleh, is the idea of, what can anyone do to support good mission that can do something in the world that we care about, and have a conversation. What does that look like? It might be in-kind support. It might be rolling up your sleeves and doing some good work, or ideating, or giving guidance, giving mentorship, giving funding. Like, all of these things are part of the answer. And so, it is a space, definitely a space of connection. But for me, it's this connected, collaborative effort to make the world better. And it takes everyone around me to do so.
Haleh, it's pretty interesting that your paths crossed. I mean, this is, from what I know about you, this is resonant. And I know that something important to you is, I think as you have phrased it to me, that for-profit look out for not-for-profit. How can we support? How can we build? How can we do more? Talk to me a little bit about that. When ProCFO Partners kind of came in from this perspective, what did you see that made you say, well, this is far more than just how can we financially, bolster their infrastructure? You're now presenting an award in Portugal. Like, how did you personally sort of connect with this in a way where it feels more important than business?
I don't know how to answer that I would have presented the award anywhere. It just so happens this year the conference is in Portugal. It's really important for all of us in business. Chris, that we're a purpose-driven organization. We're not about just profits and revenue growth. But it's very interesting to meet someone like Letitia and an organization like MENTEE, where what we're measuring isn't EBITDA, isn't KPIs. The impact is actually not about numbers. And being a company of CFOs, we can say, how can we get an organization with the challenges that Letitia just mentioned of nonprofits not getting funding, or all of the roadblocks ahead? We even have to talk about, can we say Gaza? I mean, look at the roadblocks that we're talking about here. This is not about Gaza. This is about children without access to education. This is about how can we get funding to organizations such as MENTEE, or resources to organizations such as MENTEE, so that last conversation I had with Letitia, maybe they get 1 hour of internet. And we're trying, right? You said 1 hour at a time. So how can we get organizations to hear and say, I actually have a solution for this. It's not just about money. I can actually help with these issues, because we know another business that actually has telecom access, that's actually whatnot, and have that butterfly effect of having these conversations. And it'll resonate with somebody who might be able to help 2 more children get more hours of education, and then get that diploma Letitia's talking about, and then be able to support a family that's been displaced, So for me, it's about, let's get our head out of EBITDA and KPIs and metrics and how many widgets we sell, and talk about that ultimately upstream. It's about the human experience. And that's why when I met Letitia and MENTEE, like, how can we help? It's been so small, but I'm hoping in some way has moved a couple of things forward. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. However, if anyone was listening to this and would like to write a grand gesture check, by all means, please reach out to Letitia and write that check. If anyone knows infrastructure, ways that we can support all the partners, I was looking down, all the partners and the collaborators are on the menteeglobal.org website. Please reach out and see how we can support this organization and the incredible work that you're doing, one person at a time, one mentor and mentee at a time. Those mentors feel good after and have done something in their way, right? And
thank you so much. That means so much. And honestly, this is at the end of the day about people coming to a space and realizing that they have power to make change. This is also, and this is for in fact, when we all come together, I think that one of the beautiful things that happens is this energy. And that with the energy comes solutions. And this is what we need. This is the kind of energy we need to come together with, because right now it seems like nobody has solutions to the problems we're facing, the problems we see in the world. One of the exciting things about the School of Hope is bringing in our youth in non-crisis zones to help with these solutions too. And so, again, this well. There is a beautiful world out there of folks who are in the for-profit space who care deeply and don't know how to help, don't know how to support. And there are many ways, MENTEE and other organizations, that simply need a bridge, built in order to impact and have the effect that we're looking for and really see our mission through.
Letitia Zwickert is the CEO and founder at MENTEE, which is at menteeglobal.org. And I mean, I don't know, every once in a while, we spend a lot of time in these conversations talking about EBITDA, and every once in a while you end a conversation and you're not sure how to end it because you're left a little bit speechless by the power in the room. So I think gratitude is in order, Letitia, for all that you do and are trying to do, and then selflessly say it's not about me. Appreciate that. Still, thank you. And Haleh and ProCFO Partners for just kind of being a small part of that story that we're hoping continues to be a success story. And Haleh, we hope that you'll come back after your trip to Portugal. The event, the movie, the film thing, it's Plural Plus, which is a youth video festival on migration, diversity, and social inclusion. That's powerful in its own way. And so I hope that you'll come back and tell us about that. And I don't know, maybe in a few months or a year, we can all get back together and you can tell us more about how it's going.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Haleh. It's a pleasure seeing you.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching, and a special thanks to our subscribers. Consider becoming one today. Visit ProCFOPartners.com for more strategies and ideas for financial management and growth to help you put your business's financial picture in context.